to agree to terms on a deal with Los Angeles Rams on moving that first overall pick.
When is that ever going to happen
Eagles
again?
get the number 2 overall pick.
Everyone has an opinion. And they all think they're the smartest person in the room.
He's no Dion, but this kid rarely
We could
gets a
market
false
him
step.
as the face of the franchise.
We'd have to move up to get him.
At the end of the day, I gotta trust my instincts. We have an opportunity here.
Kicking off the dust, man. Hopping back on the draft show.
What's going on, man? We back in the building again, and we ready for this mock draft, man. I mean, I don't want to keep them waiting, man. So let's kind of like dive straight into it, man. Let's see who has the number 1 overall pick and where we think they're gonna go. So here we go right here, man. We got the Seattle Seahawks with the number 1 overall pick, and we both agree with this pick, and we got him taking Seth Hughes out of BYU. Now, as I mentioned one time before, the last quarterback that came out of BYU was Zach Wilson, and he got drafted by the Jets. Now, what we remember him about now is hitting them Cougars. You know what I'm saying? I hope Seth doesn't have any of the traits that Zach Wilson had, where he's out here, you know, tackling some of these cougar women. But was this a no-brainer for the Seahawks?
It's a no-brainer, man. I mean, Seth Hughes from the jump has been the number 1 overall prospect all season long, man. I mean, he's been the clear-cut front runner. I mean, you got a 22-year-old quarterback, 6'5", 231, elite throw power, elite strength, does everything right. I mean, who doesn't want that pocket passer that can stand in the pocket and be 6'5" and do the things that he does? I mean, I wouldn't say he's Josh Allen-like, because Josh Allen is a monster and he can run.
Yeah.
But he's got that same look to him. And Seattle, man, they got the talent up there. They got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, the newly developed superstar X Factor, Noah Fant, Kenneth Walker, a decent offensive line. I mean, the only thing they need is a quarterback to chuck it to him. Now, do I think he's going to come in here and light it up? I don't know. It's all about the user. But for me, Seth Hughes, easy number 1 pick. If he picks anybody else, he's a dummy.
Yeah, I think this was a no-brainer, man. And as we looked at his roster, he doesn't have a quarterback on the roster. You know what I'm saying? So this is a no-brainer for him and us. He's definitely going to go Seth Hughes. I think Seth would come in here and put the Seattle Seahawks in a better position. You know what I'm saying? They had Drew Lock, Geno Smith. Those guys just didn't fit. But Seth Hughes coming in as a rookie and being able to throw to DK and Lockett and Noah Fant, and have a solid run game behind him with Walker III, I think that's definitely going to help him out big time. Now, to get a quarterback, most people like to have that O-line already secured. So I'm not sure how good it is. So he's going to have to start building that O-line to protect his pride and joy with the Seth Hughes. Now, that's the number 1 overall pick with the Seattle Seahawks. Let's see who comes in at number 2. And that's the Detroit Lions, man. And we both have him picking quarterback out of Nebraska, Calvin Warner. Now, you mentioned that Calvin Warner didn't play last year. What was going on?
Yeah, Calvin, man, right in the beginning of the season. I don't even know if he played a game this year for Nebraska, but he was late to practice, and I guess that was the final straw, and they kicked him off the team, man. And so it's tough to not play a full year of college football and then go into the pros, but he could have an intense personality, and that could be a good thing, or he could be a douchebag, and that could be a bad thing. And right. I think in Detroit, you got to have a guy that's intense, man. You got to have a guy that's got some swag to him. And, you know, the Lions fired Dan Campbell. They're bringing in a new regime at Cincy. And, you know, them cats are used to Joe Burrow. And if you look at Wallner, he's got a lot of the same looks as Burrow, man. So Detroit's got a lot of talent, a great offensive line, great back, great tight end, great receivers. I mean, all they're missing on offense is a quarterback, just like Seattle.
Yeah.
And so I think this right here is the home run pick for them.
Right. I think Calvin Warner will be a great fit for Detroit. They let go of Golf, but I'm not sure if I would have just completely let him go. I'm not sure if he was in his re-sign year or not, but I probably would have at least kept him in as a backup, somebody who can kind of show him the way. But just to let Golf know, like, yeah, you're simply a backup. Calvin Walden is coming in here to start day one, and he's in a division where he could win. You got the Packers who went to the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, and then they lost, and then you have the Vikings, and then you got the Bears who they're struggling big time down there. So I think Calvin Warner is coming into a great situation with Detroit, and he can probably get him over the hump and get him to the playoffs. I mean, do you think that's too much to ask from Calvin Warner, even though he didn't play collegiate football last year and jumping straight into the Dml Madden League?
No, man, I think Detroit's made the moves. You look at what the Lions have done. They brought in Justin Simmons on defense. They gave away the 8th pick. They got a 2nd-round pick back in return for it. But I think they're going all in. And I think if Tazarelli thinks that this is the guy for him, it's a home run pick. And I definitely could see them in the playoffs this season.
Gotcha. All right, so we got 2 quick QBs coming off the board at 1 and 2. Which we kind of knew with Seattle Seahawks not having a quarterback on the roster, and then the Detroit Lions letting go of Golf. That was a no-brainer for us, man, and both of us had them selecting Seth Hughes with the Hawks and then Calvin Warner with the Lions. Next up, we got the Houston Texans coming in at pick number 3, man, and this is the first time where we go different ways. Same side of the ball, just different positions. Now, you got them taking Teddy Mentor out of Oklahoma State. Why this position and why Teddy versus the other DTs that's on the board right now?
Man, Houston, I would say Houston could be in the play for a quarterback, but I think JB likes his quarterback in Davis Mills, and he needs defense, man. If you look at his D-line, they all suck.
Yeah.
And Teddy Mentor, man, he's a big boy. He's 6'5", 305. And he put up 37 reps at the combine, but he also was one of the top 2 fastest DTs. And so who does everyone want to look like? Aaron Donald. And so when you got a guy that's that strong but can also move, I mean, that's why I put him above the other guys, because some of those guys are a lot stronger, but they may be slow. So I think this guy could either be a 3-4 end or a 3-4 nose tackle.
Okay, so you can see him moving in or moving to the outside in a 3-4 defense, right?
Oh yeah, JB's got 1,000 fast linebackers, so I think they need someone that could do a little bit of everything, and I think he could play DN or nose tackle to help cover them guys up.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I got him going D-line as well, but I got him going to taking a player out of San Diego State, man, and that's Zach Duncan. Now, he's a left end power rusher, but when you look at him, he's 6'3", 270, so he has some weight on him. I think he can hold his own in a 3-4 defense, but he may be better off in a 4-3, but I think the Texans run a 3-4 if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at Zach Duncan, man, he has great speed, good strength, solid acceleration. He ran a 4.66 in the 40, but he only put up 30 reps. I think that's pretty decent for a left end. But then when you look at his skills, the main thing that pops out to me is he has A, power move, and he has C, block shedding. Smart guy, he'll be able to recognize the play actions and some of them zone reads that he may face in that division. So either way, I think with Teddy Mentor or Zach Duncan, I think he has to address the D-line.
Oh, most definitely, man. I mean, I like Zach Duncan. He kind of looks like a poor man's Aiden Hutchinson,
Yeah.
In my personal opinion. But, man, I mean, either way, you can't go wrong. All these guys are going to be great young players. And, it just depends on what he prefers. And I think he's definitely going D-line regardless. So we'll see which one he takes.
Gotcha. All right, man. Next up, we got the New England Patriots coming in at pick number 4. And we agree once again, and this is the 3rd quarterback taken off the board. And we got Leo Booth out of Oklahoma State. Now, what do you think about Leo Booth compared to what they have in New England right now with who? Matt Jones.
Mac Jones. Mac and cheese.
Yeah. Is Leo Booth that much of a better player or upgrade from Mac Jones?
For me personally, I don't see it. I think that the user himself wants a new quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he wants one that can move a little bit better and that has a little bit better throw power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Leo Booth, I mean, he's a top-rated prospect, man. He's pegged to go top 5.
Yeah.
And he's a scrambling type quarterback. And so when you look at his 40-yard dash, I mean, at the combine, he ran a 4.8, and his pro day, he ran a 4.74. So he's got some wheels to him, and so I think he's got great throw power. So I think for what that user is looking for in New England, I think Squire definitely wants a quarterback. I don't see him taking any other position. I think Leo Booth, falls into a good situation for the user, but I think this is the first player on this top 5 that this guy will die there. He will not have a career. He will probably throw 60 plus interceptions season 1. And this is the first one that I think that's just going to be ruined from the jump.
Gotcha. I'm totally confused here because I like Leo Booth going there because he could be a step above from Mac Jones, and only because not because Mac Jones can't play or he's not accurate enough, solely because I think Leo Booth has a better deep ball and better throw power than Mac Jones. That's just my personal opinion. Now the last quarterbacks that I know of that came out of Oklahoma State was you had Brandon Wheaton. I think he might have got drafted by the Cowboys at one time. Then you had Zach.
He was a first round pick in Cleveland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cleveland. Then you had Zach Brunson. So the guys coming out of Oklahoma State that are quarterbacks don't have a great rap sheet. So, but he could be going into a good situation down there with Squire. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking like, hey, get some new pieces down there, man. Maybe it motivates him to play more intense Madden football and try to get a couple dubs down there. But just looking at the overall team, I mean, we got him picking quarterback. I just don't know if I would take a quarterback this high, knowing that I have other positions that I may need based on the age of some of these players. If you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you could probably go any position and be okay.
Yeah.
Outside of quarterback, in my opinion. Do I think Mac Jones is a top 5 quarterback? No. But do I think he's good? Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
I just think specifically for this user, he wants a new quarterback, better throw power, can move a little bit better. And I think you got to do it. If you're going to do it now, out the jump, get it started, and hopefully, develop them up.
Gotcha. So, I mean, we look for the Patriots, man, to win a couple games, man. Have a new toy down there to play with, throwing the ball to, I guess, Thornton, maybe Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and those guys. But next up, man, we got the Atlanta Falcons coming in at pick number 5, and we disagree again. Now, we've already talked about Teddy Mentor. I'm gonna speak on him a little bit more, but you got him going Luther Singleton. Man, that sounds like an R&B singer.
It sounds like someone's schemer should have drafted.
Luther Singleton out of USC, man, outside linebacker. What is he going to bring to the Atlanta Falcons defense that they may be missing right now?
Man, coming from SC, man, he reminds me of Willie McGinnis. I mean, he's a great rusher. I mean, if you look at his measurables, he's 6'3", 257, and he can run. He does everything great. There's not one knock on him as a rushing linebacker. And in Atlanta, man, I saw the commish, man. He gave up a lot of points. And so I don't think the offense is the problem, and I think he needs to keep adding on defense. And I think he could be a tweener defensive end, outside linebacker for them. They got some great pieces in Atlanta, but they're missing this kind of a guy. So you can never go wrong with adding a top 5 talent on defense at any position, even if you don't think you need it.
Yeah,
I think Luther can slide in, be a starter at DN, outside linebacker, be that nickel rusher, that dime rusher. I think he can do everything, man. So I think definitely, Dion, man, pick a defensive player. Don't be picking don't pick a receiver.
Don't pick a receiver.
Yeah, man.
Go defense.
Go defense. So that's my take on Singleton, man.
I like old Luther, man. I like Luther Singleton out of USC, man. And you mentioning, well, I think the Falcons are running a 3-4 because they got Grady Jarrett at DN, I think. So I think he could be perfect as the outside linebacker, man. Get him in there and rushing the passer a little bit. When you think about the quarterbacks in that division, I mean, what you got? Baker Mayfield, Carolina. Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you got
some bad quarterbacks in that division, and
yeah.
you don't know what the Bucs are going to do. The Bucs let Brady walk, so they can have a new quarterback there. So I mean, you want to go ahead and have a defense ready to take on these teams that could terrorize those rookie quarterbacks. And I'm guessing Carolina will take a quarterback at some point.
Right.
I'm guessing the Saints will too. So you might have, 3 rookie quarterbacks in that division pretty soon. And so you got to have a good pass rush.
Yeah, I think Luther gonna get after the quarterback, and it's gonna be interesting, man, to see what quarterback runs that offense in Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? Without Brady being there, but
it's been quiet in Tampa, man. So we don't know if something's lurking in the background. We don't see it, or one of these quarterbacks may slide and fall. We don't know, but it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I got him taking Teddy Mentor, man, your boy who you had going to the Texans. And we've already spoke about Teddy Mentor, man. I just feel like teaming Teddy Mentor up with a Grady Jarrett on that D-line, another top 5 talent that you can't go wrong. I got him going DT, man. And you keep him at DT or you move him out to the DN. But I would like to see him and Grady Jarrett play side by side.
Oh, man, I'll say this. If Teddy slides to 5 for whatever reason, then, yeah, you take him. I mean, he's a perennial player. I mean, he would be a steal at pick 5, and putting him with Grady Jarrett, man. And, the commish, he likes to use them D linemen too. So, I think right there that's a match made in heaven if he falls.
Oh, definitely, man, because now since you like to use the DT, you don't have to be on Grady Jarrett all the time. You can go from Jarrett to Teddy Mentor and switch it up. You know what I'm saying? And when you're looking at his key ratings, he had B block shed, B finesse, A power move, B tackle, like 30. And you mentioned earlier 37 reps for the pro day, but he had 38 on the NFL combine. You know what I'm saying? Elite speed, great strength. I think this dude will be an anchor of that D line with J.D. Garrett, and whenever J.D. Garrett retires, I don't see where you go wrong with any of these picks. But if Teddy Mentor falls, yeah, I'm gonna need for you to grab him. So that was picks 1 through 5, man. So we gonna switch right on over, man, to pick number 6, and we got the Minnesota Vikings coming in, and we disagree again. Same side of the ball, same D-line, but just different positions. Now, you got him going Richard Till out of Penn State. I got him going Jaquan Garrett out of USC. So let's see why you went with a DT versus a DN here. Because I mean, I had it with the D-line just needs help overall.
Yeah, he just needs help regardless, man. It don't matter if it's DN, DT, whatever. I mean, his D line is old. You look at his ends; they're old. Yeah, he lost all his DTs in free agency. And if you look when you're playing the Packers, I mean, Aaron Jones is going to touch the rock at least 30 times a game, and you got to have some DTs to stop the inside zone. So, I think Richard Teal, he's a big boy and he's got elite strength, and he
Yep.
put up 42 reps on the
Ooh.
bench press. So that boy's going to be strong and he's going to be hard to move. And so if you look at his power moves as an A and finesse moves as an A, like come
Yep.
on, man, that's the highest rate you can go. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's strong and he can get around the interior offensive lineman. I think that's a slam dunk pick. So I think he would slide perfectly in Minnesota to clog the middle of that defense.
Gotcha. So we mentioned another DT, and that was Mentor going earlier. How do you compare Teal and Mentor? Like they're so close in talents and their physical attributes. What puts one over the other? Like we saw Teal had what did he have? 41 reps on the bench. What makes him different than Mentor?
So Teal had about 5 more reps on the bench when they did it, and I think Mentor was a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit more twitchier when it came to it. So to me, it's 1A and 1B. You can't go wrong with either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Teal's more like the run plugger. I think when you're comparing the two, I would say Mentor's closer to Aaron Donald because of the twitchiness and the speed aspect.
Gotcha. So if you're looking for that Aaron Donald clone, Teal could be the guy, right?
Now, don't get me wrong; they both some dogs, man. So
yeah,
whatever one you pick, you ain't gonna pick wrong.
Yeah. So let me correct myself. Mentor is more so of that Donald clone. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. So you got him going DT. I got him going Jaquan Garrett out of USC. Now, there's another DN ahead of him that people may have picked before, but I think Jaquan Garrett overall might be a little better. So I'm looking at his power move. His power move is an A, and he has an A tackle. He has 35 reps on the bench. He has 4.69 40. So he's strong, and he can rush the passer with a couple power moves. He has big, strong hands. There are some things that he needs to work on. Sometimes when rushing a passer, he takes too many steps, and he doesn't. They're saying he doesn't bend low enough at times, and he relies strictly on his strength. Well, coming to the DML, you're gonna have to be versatile. You can't just try to bold and bull rush everybody. You're gonna have to learn some new moves because everybody's seen all the moves that you coming out that you did in college. They already got the tape on you, so they're gonna be ready. But I think Jaquan Garrett with the right coaching can solidify this pick number 6 and help the Vikings win a few more games.
Oh, most definitely, man. I mean, he can slide in there, learn from Zadarius Smith, learn from Danielle Hunter.
Right.
I love Garrett as a prospect, man. He can't go wrong picking here. The only thing is, he don't know how to get off blocks.
Yeah.
And so you can have the moves, but if you don't know how to use them, that's the problem. And when you come in and you got David Bakhtiari on one side and Elton Jenkins on the other, or you got Panay Sewell and Taylor Decker, I mean, those are elite tackles.
Right.
You got to be able to get off them blocks, man. So he may struggle in that aspect, but again, the right coaching and developing, I think he'll be all right.
All right. So you guys listening, if you notice, he didn't mention one team in there when it comes to like O linemen, and that's the Bears. That's because the Bears don't have any damn O linemen on their team in real life or in the DML. So
yeah, man, it's Struggleville in Chicago.
Yes. So I just wanted to put that out there, man. Maybe the Bears go O line with one of their picks that they have. So coming in at number 7, man, we had a trade here. It's already been processed and approved by the trade committee, man. And we got the Eagles moving up to pick 7.
So do we call 15. It a trade or do we call it a Cosby?
This is simply a trade.
Okay, so we're gonna stick with the trade because if I were to say it, I would be like, "Yo, we had our first Cosby of the DML cycle."
Yeah, this is a simple trade that took place between the Eagles and the Seahawks, man. Shout out to my boy A_the schemer. All right, man. So, let's just talk about the trade. Like, how did the Eagles get here? You know what I'm saying? So, I saw some things going on in Twitter, and the Eagles were trying to move up from 15 to 7. So the Hawks kind of reached out, hey man, you got a player that we want. So I'm like, hey, the Eagles owner was like, well, let's get it done. So the Eagles sent pick 15 that they had from the Saints from a trade, and they sent the speedster Kyron Johnson to the Seahawks for pick number 7. It was kind of no brainer for the Eagles owner, man, and he got it done real quick, so the Hawks couldn't back out. But hey, that's how we got here.
You pressed that button fast, boy.
So right now, man, with the Eagles, the Eagles owner has 2 elite DTs in place right now. You got Big Jordan Davis out of Georgia, and you still got the veteran Cox down there. So everybody knows Cox is kind of old. He's 32. So I got the Eagles taking your boy Richard Teal right here. Even though it's a position they may not need, I think it's a position for the future.
Man, you can never go wrong picking a dude like that.
Right. So when you think about it, I think if the Eagles decide to go here, they become real versatile on the defensive front, because Jordan Davis is a big boy, but he's fast enough to play DN. So picture Davis.
Oh, yeah.
So picture Davis on the end, then you move Teal and Cox right there in the middle.
Yeah. That's a brick wall, man. That's straight cheddar cheese.
Yeah. So I see why the Eagles made that move. I see why we have him potentially taking Richard Teal here, the monster from Penn State, and you got him taking Ricky Cummings, outside linebacker from Washington State. What do you like about Ricky Cummings?
I think he's one of the most athletic players in the draft. I mean, he's one of them twitchy, fast, hybrid linebackers. And, I mean, you look at him, he's 6'6", 263, and he's one of the fastest players on the field, man. And so when you look at the Eagles defense, I mean, yeah, Cox is about to retire, but, you know, you also got some other players that are going to be kind of going in the later 20s, early 30s pretty soon. And so you're trying to groom these guys to take over those spots. So, I mean, the Eagles are loaded, man, from front end to back end. And so to plug a guy like that into that defense, to learn from all them guys, I mean, it would, to me, it would make a lot of sense to infuse an athlete where you could put him pretty much anywhere in the front 7.
Yeah. But I think I like Ricky Cummings. But I think if he goes to the Eagles, I think he goes straight to the D line, to the DN position. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. You know, they run a 4-3 over there. I'm not sure what type of coverage skills he has. But if he can cover slightly, maybe he stays at the outside linebacker, man. But at 6'6", I don't know. I think I'm moving him straight to DN.
He's got the DM body, man, and one of his notes from his coaches where he loves to use a spin move. And so the last time you saw an elite defensive end using the spin move was Dwight Freeney. Yep. So if he can do that and make that an elite move for him in the dynasty, man, he could be a nasty defensive end combo with him and Big Boy Jordan.
Yeah. It'll be a nice little combination down there. But we gonna see what happens, man. But next up, man, we got. This was another trade that popped off where the Titans moved up to pick number 8. So you got him taking left tackle Chuck McAllister out of Georgia.
Man, the Titans need offensive line. I mean, he probably got 10 picks this draft, and I think he may use 8 of them on offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I said 8 because they are all so bad. His backups were bad. His starters were bad. Like, Derrick Henry had nowhere to run. And the only serviceable lineman he had was Taylor Lewan, and he's up there in age, and, he may not be back in Tennessee after this season. So Chuck McAllister is one of the, if not the best offensive lineman in the draft. And you come from the SEC school where they ground and pound, man. So, I mean, this boy is 6'7", 330. I mean, that's a big man. And he threw up 37 reps on the bench press. So he ain't no punk on the field. He's going to intimidate you on and off of it. I think it's a no-brainer to go ahead and give Big Derrick Henry a mauler to run behind.
Yeah, I like Big Chuck out of Georgia, man. And, you got to think, he was down there helping block Jordan Davis in practice sometimes. So he can block. And you know he's a big boy coming out of the SEC, where they say that's the best conference in collegiate football right now. I really like that pick, man, and I kind of hope he goes there to help solidify that O line, man. But another position that I looked at where he's kind of weak, the Titans may need some help at the wide receiver position. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go look at their roster right now, and I'm gonna tell you who they have on the roster and why. I'm going with this pick. So, you know they drafted the guy last year, Trey Burke, big receiver who can catch, real good guy, on and off the field. Then they have Robert Woods, who's 31. You got Nick Westbrook Enhine, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Kyle Phillips, and you got Racy McMath, who's injured right now. So I got him taking the little short guy out of Texas, Tracy Morrison. And we talked about this earlier, and bro, the little short, speedy receivers. A lot of us don't like them because they seem like they can only do one thing. But I think when you have a guy like Trey Burks who's 6'2", 224, I think you got to get some speed on the field, man, to make people respect it. And Tracy Morrison's coming in out of Texas. He's running like a 4.28. So what you expect? 96, 97 speed maybe?
Oh yeah, it's got to be in that ballpark, man. Because I mean, he ran at the combine 4.32, pro day 4.28. So you put that in the middle, it's a 4.3. I mean, that's 95 minimum. So and one of the Titans receivers, man, Virgil, he played a great role for them this year. Caught a lot of passes, kick return, punt return. Didn't re-sign in Tennessee, and then when we hit free agency, I guess he retired, man, because he said goodbye. He's not there no more. So that was a big loss for the Titans. So I could see him going receiver. And Morrison, man, he was a Heisman winner at UT. He took home the trophy. So when you're a receiver and you bring that home, that kind of hardware, you can ball. So to get an elite offensive player like that at 8, I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only knock on him is his height, but he's like, I'm short, but it's like catch me if you can. You know what I'm saying?
You get him in space.
In space, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? And a little wiggle here, a little wiggle there. Next thing you know, you're looking at the back of his jersey. So, but I've also heard there's been a little back and forth between him and Tyreek Hill, man. Like he's been trying to steal the little deuces animation from Tyreek, but Tyreek ain't having it. So if you throw up the deuces, it might be an altercation if Tyreek hears about it. So just look for that in the news, man. Hopefully, Tracy Moore can respect the veterans in the DML and come up with his own little type of animation, man. When he scores all these touchdowns for the Tennessee Titans, you know what I'm saying? So next up, man, we got the Chicago Bears, not my Bears, the DML Bears, coming in at pick number 9. So I got him going left tackle Chuck McAllister. We spoken about him, and you got him going DN Allen Johnson. Now, I pray and hope the Bears take Chuck McAllister. I hope he falls because you got my man Justin Fields down there, man, and they need help. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a solid O-line. They don't have an O-line at all. You know what I'm saying? So I think you start off by protecting Justin Fields and letting him do work. And if not, it's going to be another long season for the Bears. You know what I'm saying? We've already spoke about Chuck McAllister and what he can do and what he brings to the table for the DML and in the Chicago Bears. So you got him going DN Allen Johnson out of Clemson. What do you like about Allen Johnson?
Man, Johnson, he may be the highest rated DN in the draft. I mean, he does a lot of great things. He's not like super fast, but he ran a 4.73. That's pretty good for someone that weighs 266 and 6'4". He threw up 34 reps at the combine, and he's only 21, man. He only, played a couple of years at Clemson, and Clemson's notorious, man, for throwing out good defensive linemen in these drafts. So, in Chicago, they need a lot of things. If McAllister's there, yeah, I'm taking the lineman just because you got to protect Fields, but I don't have him falling to that spot. So you got to go defense, man. I think H-Bo gave up a lot of games, man, where he gave up a lot of points. And so you got to fix the defense. The defense has lost a lot of talent. Roquan Smith and Brisker need some help, man. So I think Allen Johnson filling in that role could be the next superstar that, comes out of Chicago.
Gotcha. I mean, I like the DN out of Clemson, man, and that's my collegiate team. So, but I think Allen Johnson will be a great fit. But we all know, man, it all starts in the trenches. Whether you go DN, DT, or you go O line, Chicago needs to go somewhere. Just not receiver, not running back. Protect your quarterback, or get a guy in there to get after the quarterback. One or the other. You know what I'm saying? So, pick 10, man. We always go from 1 to 10, and coming in at number 10, it's those Buffalo Bills. And wow, this is ironic. We got 2 Clemson guys going at pick number 10. You got a DN, Bryce Sawyer, and I got a reach pick that many may agree with me on with Landon Mickens. So let's talk about Bryce Sawyer, man. But before you even talk about Bryce Sawyer, so we're looking at this team at this mock draft right now. You got 2 of the top DNs out of Clemson, and then you got one of the top safeties out of Clemson. What does that tell you about that defense? I mean,
that defense looks elite on paper right now, man. That's a lot of talent in the top 10.
That's a lot of talent in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? They fell short winning the national championship, but they won the ACC. But you got 2 top DNs in the DML draft from Clemson, and then you got a safety that's projected to be round 1. So Clemson defense must have been really good. But you got Bryce Sawyer going to the Buffalo Bills. Tell me about him.
Man, Bryce and Allen, man, they were just an elite tandem. You don't see too many teams that have 2 elite defensive ends that get after the quarterback. And he's actually faster than Allen Johnson, man. He's the fastest DN in this draft. And he's 6'4", 273, and he's actually pretty strong. I mean, you see guys that are typically fast like that aren't very strong, but he put up 31 reps. And so I think in the Buffalo's defense, they run that 4-3-D with, I think, you can never go wrong again, like you talked about earlier, having the boys in the trenches. And, you can never have too many of them guys. And when you got teams like, the Jets and the Dolphins that both are really, really good coached and they got great players on offense, you got to get after the quarterback. And so I think the safety's a little bit of a reach, but I think Sawyer would, fill in perfectly in that 4-3 DN for the Bills.
Yeah. And the reason I have him going with Mickens because I think Jordan Poyer is not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? So there's a big vacant spot at that strong safety position, man. And yes, I think Landon Mickens may be a reach, but he's projected to go in the first round or the second round. Now, the only knock on him, bro, is really his height. He's 5'10", 196. So he's a little light playing the safety, but he has a hit power, which means you catch the ball, you better cover up. Because he's going to bring the hips and he's going to try to knock you away from that ball. I don't care if you're holding it high and tight or not. You know what I'm saying? Landon Mickens will come down and put a helmet on the ball.
That's a user's hit stick dream right there.
Yes. So, like I said, the knock on him is his height and his weight. He's not the fastest, strong safety man, but he has solid speed, great acceleration, good strength, a catching. You know what I'm saying? A hit power. He can tackle. That's kind of like what you want from your strong safety, who may not be as fast, which means when he's there, he's gonna tackle you and he's gonna try to create some turnovers for the defense. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that could be a slight reach, but a for sure pick is definitely Bryce Sawyer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So overall, man, what do you think about the picks 1 through 10? Like out of all those guys, who do you think will be the one of the best rookies coming out in this year's draft?
Oh man, I actually think it's going to be the quarterback, Seth Hughes. Man, I think that's the perfect position for him to go in. You gave him a crazy offense to roll right into with DK and Noah Fant, and I think Schemer's going to sling the rock a little bit. So I think coming out, he's going to be the best player, and I think he might have the best rookie season out of all these guys. So I think it's a slam dunk pick for him. Gotcha.
Yeah, I think Seth Hughes will be probably the best rookie in this draft. I can't wait to see him, in that Seahawk green playing for the 12th man. So, by the way, the DML's draft is tomorrow, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So this is when these rookies gonna be ready in the green room with their suits and their jewelry on, man. Hopefully, some of these guys not sitting in there all day. We know Seth Hughes won't, because he's gonna be the first overall pick in the DML draft, man. So, until next time, man, I want to thank my homeboy Embro for jumping back on with me, knocking the dust off the mic, and getting back in the booth. So,
yes, sir. It was fun. We got it popping today.
Yes, sir. So until next time, man, we'll see you guys next season with another mock draft where we bring you guys the top picks 1 through 10. Until then, see you then. We out.